What is up, guys? It's pretty nice to get out here and fucking get a ride in because I've been able to actually physically, like, legitimately ride in probably a good 3 weeks because the weather's been such shit. No, I'm not dead. No, I haven't wrecked. And no, I haven't been in jail. Yeah, no, it's been quite a while since I made a video. And I know it seems to be like a repeating thing that I'll make a video and then make another video and then I'm gone for a couple months and then make another video. It's just hard to balance work because I switched to a new schedule a few months ago, and then being able to like do my hobbies because I golf a lot. I try and go at least 2 or 3 times a week after work or if I'm off, and it's just been kind of hard. I've been trying to find that balance point where I could juggle all 3 of these things that I love to do at the same time. Well, 2 things, you can do what you want with that. Hopefully, I think I found out a pretty good way of how I can go about getting everything done. Like, try and get on a schedule of trying to be able to do uploads certain days and then do whatever I got to do certain other days. Hopefully, it all works out and I can sit here and make videos constantly and consistently. I don't want this video to be all mushy and like I don't want it to be like a sob story, I guess you could say. I just want to I love to raise awareness for certain things. That's why a lot of the videos I posted have been about, well, not a lot, but there's been those videos that I posted about texting and driving and drunk and all that shit. And because that hits close to me because I've had friends die from drinking and driving and all that stuff. But I mean, I'm not going to get into that. If you want to see that, go back to my other video. I want to talk about something that I went through. I'm sure maybe some of you can relate to it. Hopefully I never go through this again. It was a really dark time in my life where I was thinking about doing bad things to myself. And so pretty much, growing up as a kid, I had ADHD really, really bad, to the point where I couldn't get shit done in school. And when it got a little too much, my parents decided I needed to start taking more medications to like calm me down, so I could actually concentrate in school and be able to get the job done. And so I got put on like 2 or 3 medicines, I think it was. So we flipped back and forth because some would work, some wouldn't work. I mean, that's the way it happened. I can't remember the certain medicine I was on. I wish I could. I would say what it was. But pretty much I became really, really depressed. It was to the point where I was seeing therapists, and because like I would get up, I would go to school, I wouldn't talk to anybody, I would go home and just sit in my room, like just stay sitting on Xbox or something like that, where I was like away from the world and like pretty much even away from my parents, which is what the bad thing was about it. Like, so I would seclude myself. I didn't want to be around anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. And when you get in that mindset to where you're not socially active and you don't want to have anything to do with anybody, you start getting all these bad thoughts in your head. And I was becoming suicidal. Like I was having suicidal thoughts. I was thinking this world was better off without me. And all these things, it was just, and it sucked because I had all this built up and I didn't want to talk to anybody, so it just kept building and building and building. And when you do that, that is when you like hit that edge and there's no telling what happens. I started feeling that way when I was in my, I want to say as soon as I started high school, it was my freshman year, I started feeling that way. I mean, I was playing sports and all that. That's what the crazy thing was about it, is I was still playing sports. I had friends. It was one of those things I felt like I couldn't control. And when we ended up moving I want to say the middle of my sophomore year up to where I live now, and I feel like it was a good move, but at the same time, it was a bad move. It was a good move because the area I was in was going really downhill. I mean, there were gangs, there were drugs everywhere, there were fights every day at school. And it's a good thing that they moved me because I didn't want to get mixed up in that. They didn't want me to get mixed up in that. So moving me out of there was a very smart decision. I'm glad my parents made it. But at the same time, you can look at it as I was going through depression then, moving away from my friends, moving away from the area I grew up in for 16 years. It all like hit me. It all jumbled up at once, and I couldn't take it. I think that right around then is when the whole suicidal thoughts started brewing. It is not fun for those of you that have actually gone through something like that. It's not a good thing. It's actually really hard to talk about this because if you go back to a few months ago, however long ago it was, that whole situation where that girl pretty much, I don't want to say made her boyfriend commit suicide, but she forcefully talked him into doing it, I guess you could say. And the fact that I actually sat there and read all those like messages and texts that went in between both of them, and that actually made me cry. Like, I was legitimately crying because I know what it feels like to go through depression like that kid was doing, but thankfully I didn't have some heartless piece of shit telling me that I'm better off like not in this world. Luckily, I had awesome family, awesome friends that I ended up becoming friends with. I saw therapists. I started seeing therapists, and that helped me out a lot, actually. It was one of those times in my life that I hate looking back at it, but at the same time, it's a good thing to go back and look at because you could use that to help other people. That's why that is one of the big reasons why I try and help out as much as I can, whether it's people like in real life or I'm sitting here making moto vlogs about stuff that I actually hold like close to my heart. This is definitely one of those videos where I feel like there's a lot of people out there with depression that don't want to talk to people, and you guys need to realize that if you don't talk to people, nothing's gonna come of it but bad things. You need to realize that when you build all that up, you try and unleash it all at one time, and it's not good to like build everything up and then let it go. You really need to talk to somebody. I just wish more people would go out there and actually talk about their problems and stuff. I mean, if you have to go to a class, if you have to go to a therapist, it doesn't matter. You need to get help, and hopefully my words of encouragement, I guess you could say, help you guys out, or girls, whatever you are. But yeah, I mean, that's just one of the things that went through my life. It's painful to talk about. Not really anybody knows about it, but like my parents and my sister. I actually told Sticker Bomb about this. We were driving down to somewhere in Atlanta, I can't remember, but we were talking about like stories that like personal things between us, like what we've gone through. And that is always the first story I go to because it's always been the one that it's always in the back of my mind where the hell would I be today if I hadn't got help? Would I be mixed in with the wrong people, or would I be laying 6 feet under right now? It's one of those things that you need to think about. Hopefully you get through whatever it is you're going through, and I'll see you guys on my next video.